Hello, Dragon Ball fans. Welcome to the King's Court. Okay, so episode 7 of Dragon Ball Daima just dropped, and just like all the other ones, I want to talk about it here on the channel. So, before we get to the main discussion, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more Dragon Ball content. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you think it was okay? I thought it was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed it, but it's obvious this episode is just to set up the big fight we're definitely going to be getting in episode 8. But we'll get to that in a second. So, now the intro is out of the way. Okay, so this episode had a lot of stuff. Now, we got actually some lore on King Kai. I'm not King Kai. Man, I miss King Kai. No, on the Supreme Kai, or Shin, as he's been referred to a lot by fans and, in the show itself, the series itself. We got a lot. We actually got some background on him. So we learned his real name. Apparently, Shin. We already knew Shin wasn't his real name, and I guess it makes sense. Supreme Kai isn't his real name either. Although that does make me wonder. I wonder if with the other Kais, do they have like regular names too? Because I always thought Kai was like like a title or something. Although, who knows? That's probably a discussion for a different video. But we actually got not only in previous episodes we managed to learn that the species that Supreme Kai belongs to are called the Glins. So, and these are the same ones that his brother and his sister are also part of. So we already knew that, but we managed to not only get the name of his home planet and his real actual name, but we'll get to that one in a sec. So, just like all the other ones, I'll start from the beginning. This episode opens up where the latest episode ended. Recently, we saw in the last episode of episode 6 that the ship that Bulma was fixing up to get them to the demon realm basically was malfunctioning and was no good. So apparently, this makes sense. One of the main components for the engine for the ship to work is a mineral that's not found on, in their realm, basically, from the demon realm. So that makes sense. So they're trying to basically figure out a plan, and the character that we got introduced to in the last episode, who's basically going to be their ride to the demon realm, a character named Hibis, picks them up, and it's really interesting. First up, I think Hibis is actually really interesting because we first see him basically dancing ballet for some reason, and now apparently he only wants to hurry up and get them to the demon realm to Goku and the Supreme Kai so he can ditch because he's got to go to the beauty parlor. And the interaction between him and Bulma was actually funny because she was shocked thinking even demons apparently have to go to the beauty realm. And then we find out that he wants to hurry up because he was told by the king of the third realm that he has to now escort them to Goku and them, but he wants to hurry up and get rid of them because he has a date. And the king full on roasted this dude. He full on said, "You don't have a girlfriend." Man, he flamed him. So that was actually really funny. Like I've said in other videos, Daima is really doing well, I think, with the comedy parts of the series. So I'm really enjoying that. But then we get back to Goku, Supreme Kai, Ponzi, and Glorio. Basically, they're flying, but unfortunately, they're being followed by those people that Goku knocked out when Pansy was introduced. The same people who apparently were stealing the life force of other demons that couldn't pay their taxes. Not too different from what we got to do in real life, but anyways, though, they tell Goku to hide because apparently, if they become wanted, they can't go through the goldfish through the to the other two demon realms. So they can't get caught. So Goku has to hide in the ship. Good thing he's small right there. So while they're and we've also found out that apparently because of her collar, Pansy is really easy for them to follow. So apparently that thing is not only able to let them absorb their life essence, but apparently also it's a tracker. I'm honestly not shocked. So they basically go through the ship, empty out everything, but they don't find Goku. So I'm thinking, okay, did he get back that magical shrinking device Bulma had in the original Dragon Ball? But no. Apparently, his instant transmission, he can still use it. So I don't think they've shown him using instant transmission so far in Daima. So apparently he can still do that. So that's cool. Because I remember in GT, unless for a while Goku couldn't use instant transmission, and it wasn't until he was able to start transforming into Super Saiyan 4 or help from Piccolo, he couldn't use it. So I kind of forgot actually about instant transmission only because they hadn't mentioned it. So that's cool to know that he can still use it. So basically, though, while this is going on, they got to start fighting because they realize Goku's not there, and actually, no, this is the crazy thing. You actually see Supreme Kai actually do something. Now, I'm not trying to shit on Supreme Kai, but for a long time, a lot of fans have always thought he was pretty much useless because he didn't really, help with much. I mean, he tried helping when Boo was first awakened, but he didn't really do much. So it's really interesting that they're actually putting a lot of spotlight on Supreme Kai and his backstory and all that. So, and it was actually cool to see him actually throw down. So that was pretty sweet. So after the fight, we find out that they basically steal the ship from the guards that they knocked out, and this is where we find out that Panzi's collar basically is a tracking device for them, and they're using it to track them wherever they go. So she's contemplating whether or not going with them still because she's worried if she goes with them, they'll be able to easily follow them wherever they go. So Supreme Kai decides to take a look at it, and now we get a little more background. Apparently, these collars are made from a substance called catchinite. Catchintite. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, this is interesting because throughout Dragon Ball, ever since Z, we've been introduced to metals like Kachin, if I recall, it was called in the dub of Dragon Ball Z. I think it was called Kachino or something like that in the original version. And I believe there was even a more refined version in Dragon Ball Super. If I remember right, during the Tournament of Power, that's what the arena was made of. So this is basically another version, but it's like the original version from the Demon Realm. So that's pretty cool that they had like a little nod to that. So not only that, we find out that not only is this metal pretty much indestructible, that it's pretty much being made. It's pretty much confirmed that it's being made by Supreme Kai's sister. So this is really making me wonder, okay, so not only is it a tracking device, but it also allows them to absorb the life essence of other demons. So it's really making me wonder, what is her plan? Is she like trying to take over the demon realm? I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but this is something that I was wondering. Then he basically gets a little more. He tells her that he can break it off, basically. And he uses a spell from his home planet. And apparently we even get the name of his home planet that his people, the Glins, are from. He's from a planet called Kashin. Or Kaishin. Man, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So that was really interesting to find out. So not only do we know that there's another form of Kachino or Kachin, whatever you want to call it, the super powerful metal that broke the Z-Sword, but also the fact that we now know Supreme Kai's planet's name, his people's name, and after he breaks off her collar, we find out Shin was not Supreme Kai's real name. His real name is Nahare. Again, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Nahare. So, wow, we're actually getting a lot of background on Supreme Kai. At first, we find out that he has siblings. Then we find out he's from originally an entirely different realm. And now we even find out a little more how he was born. And apparently that's even also where Kibito is from. And now we know his real name. So Daima is doing a lot of background on like characters that haven't really had like a lot of spotlight in a while. So I think that's really cool and interesting. It makes me wonder how much more they're going to reveal about him. So not only do we learn that, but apparently the spell that he used can be used by anyone. So basically, Pansy decided because this means she can break the collars off everyone in the demon realm, and that way they have no power over them basically. And basically from there we transition to where the first Dragon Ball of the demon realm is being held, where the Tamagami, the automaton robot guards of the Dragon Balls. We see the first one. It's a big one with a giant hammer. And we also finally see the first Dragon Ball, the Demon Realm. And apparently it's just as big as the regular, as I mean, not the regular, as the Namekian Dragon Ball. So that makes sense because since Namek, for a long time, we thought those were the original Dragon Balls. And then eventually we found out about the Super Dragon Balls and Super, but now we're seeing the original ones that were made in the Demon Realm. So it makes sense. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a little bit hoping they'd be Black Stars, but hey, it's still really cool. So basically, like always, Goku decides that he wants to fight this thing one on one. But before he fights, Goku thinks he's got to eat. Which, also in the episode beforehand, we see him scarfing down these dumpling things that apparently is as good as 2 meals. Which, I'm surprised Goku didn't eat the whole damn thing. Speaking of which, oh man, I almost forgot this. Apparently, Pansy is so shocked still that he's an adult. She's even wondering how did he raise a kid. Oh man. Goku full on said he wasn't really that involved. Wow. First, we find out that in the latest episode, the episode before this, he doesn't wash his hands, and now he full on admits, "Nah, I didn't really raise my kids that much." Damn. So they're really like flaming Goku on that. I'm not gonna lie though, it's pretty funny. So basically, the episode ends with the build up to the fight, and that's pretty much where the episode ends. It was pretty much what I was expecting. They're just setting up for the next episode for the fight, which makes sense. But if you look at the sneak peek at the end of the credits, we get a little bit of a glimpse for the next episode, and it looks like that Vegeta and Piccolo are going to be in the Demon Realm, and we're going to be seeing the Demon King. Man, I keep forgetting his name, but we're also going to be seeing the fight. So that's something to really look forward to. I wonder, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, now that we know that the Demon Realm's Dragon Balls look like the Namekian Dragon Balls, I wonder what their dragon will look like. So far, when it comes to Eternal Dragons, we all know about Shenron. There's Purunga. There's the dark version of Shenron with the Dark Star Dragon Balls. I don't remember if he had a name. I'll look it up later. There's the dragon that Granola summoned in the Dragon Ball Super manga, where you have to use 2 Dragon Balls. So it's making me wonder: will the Demon Realms drag? Oh, we've also seen the Super Dragon Balls dragon. So I'm wondering what, if anything, what would the dragon from this realm look like? Because if they got Dragon Balls and they're gonna ask for a wish, they gotta have a dragon. So I'm really curious on what he'll look like. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think he'll look like Purunga or something, or would you think maybe he had like a whole new design? I kind of really like that because I like how with every version of the Dragon Balls, there's always been a radically different design from the original Shenron, where we're introduced to way at the beginning of the series. So let me know in the comments what you think, and that's pretty much everything. I think this episode was great, and like I said, Daima is really lit right now. And I'm super excited for episode 8. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments. And if you want to see any more Dragon Ball Diamond reviews, Dragon Ball content in general, don't forget to like the video so I know there's interest. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good week. Take care. Bye.